Hi, welcome everyone. Just wanted to introduce myself. I am Heidi Bushanowski from Astonishing Travel. I'm the one that started this Collette group online. So hopefully everyone is on it. And if not, just send me a chat and I will make sure you get invited to it. And I love tours like Collette. Everything is taken care of for you. They just have like this amazing tour manager that will tell you what time to be in the lobby, and then you can just show up and they take care of everything. So it's a wonderful way to travel without all the stress of trying to figure out train schedules or checking into hotels and things like that. So I highly recommend, especially for somewhere like Africa, to go on a tour like Collette. It's an amazing experience. And I'm thrilled to talk about Africa tonight. And I'm so excited to hear all that Kevin's going to tell us. So I will turn it right over so we can get going to Kevin from Collette to tell us about two of the most popular tours that they have in Africa that are just amazing. One's on South Africa, and then the other will be on Kenya with an optional Tanzania. So if you have any questions, just put them in the chat. And if you do need to step away, go ahead. This will be recorded and I can send it to everybody. All right. Well, thanks again, Kevin, for taking the time to be here with us tonight.
Wonderful, fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm just checking one thing here, uh, pulling out here, and really appreciate all of your time here as well. Yes, we're going to be talking about two amazing journeys here this evening. Here, one is going to be, of course, our journey through South Africa, our southern Africa here, from its wild plains, its winding rivers here, true safari adventure by land and water. Again, from the powerful Victoria Falls to the calm waters of Lake Kariba here, the plains across the southern Africa stunning parks. This is truly a safari adventure here of a lifetime. The other one that I'm going to be talking about here as well is our plains of Africa. Now, this is going to be focusing on Kenya here and its scenic vistas, its magnificent wildlife as we traverse here the African plains. Intimate safari adventure here as well, unparalleled experiences. And both of these trips, these are small group tours here. This is 18, 20 people maximum on this. So this is a great size group where it's not too big, it's not too small, but like Goldilocks and the Bears, just right here as well. My name is Kevin Ferguson. I'm the business development manager for all of upstate New York for Collette. Have been probably working for the company for 16 and a half years, both as a tour manager out on the road in the thick of it all, as well as in our sales force. Home base for me is in Syracuse, New York, upstate New York, which is the snowiest city in the United States, over 100,000 people. So people always ask me, when's a great time to go here or there? Trust me. After the last 3+ years of missing experiences, opportunities, go travel, see. Yes, I will give you the Al Roker weather forecast here as well, but this is really one of those things where it's a go, experience, and see these amazing parts of our world. Now, Collette, the company I work for here, we are the longest running tour operator in North America, have been around for 106 years now, doing 180 different itineraries, 58 different countries on all 7 continents here as well. And when people ask about Africa, usually they say, oh, I want to go and do safari. And really, these 2 itineraries that we're going to be talking about is going to get into the nitty gritty, the nuts and bolts of these parts of the world here, and really fantastic. Yes, household name Collette. We even sponsor Wheel of Fortune as well, so it's good enough for Pat and Vanna. Probably good enough here for you as well on this. And that said, here, when it comes to just guided travel here in general, you're not going to have to worry about a thing. As Heidi mentioned here earlier, we have expert local guides. We have a tour manager who's with you the entire time in the destination, really bringing that place right out here for you as well. Culinary experiences, cultural experiences. So this is not a Kodak or a Fuji tour here. It's really getting into, all the 5 senses here as well. 4-star plus accommodations as well on this here. And that being said, here we'll talk about that. As a company that's been around for 100+ years, I also want to focus and point out the fact where we're not your mother's or your grandmother's tour company here. That being said, here is knowing that, again, this is a destination that and a part of the world here where we want to make sure that we're doing things different, multiple night stays, getting into the destination, and much more. Knowing that your financial stability is also there when it comes to traveling with us is very important. during the last few years of these unprecedented times, we've given back $185+ million in full money back refunds when we as an operator were not able to operate tours. The only places that we're not going to right now are Russia, China, and currently Israel here. But the world is open. Are you open to it? That's for you to decide and for you to travel and explore and go. Now, let's get right into the nitty gritties here as well of our first destination. As I said, this is on our first tour. This is the wilderness of Southern Africa, safari by land and water. It's a newer trip. It's going to be going out here just after Labor Day in 2024, September 5th to September 19th, to give you those average weather temperatures here. In Fahrenheit, we're looking at temperatures in Johannesburg here, and just kind of starting off this here in the upper 40s to the low 70s here. In Chobe National Park here in Botswana, we're looking at temperatures in the lower 60s to the upper 80s. In Hwangi National Park here, 58 and 86 respectively. And Kariba and Victoria Falls here, we're looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, low 70s to the upper 80s. Now in Celsius here, that again is about 10 Celsius to 20, 21 Celsius for Johannesburg. And then it only gets hotter from there. Again, temperatures ranging roughly about anywhere from about 15 Celsius here to about 20, 29 here Celsius on this. There is a post-tour extension on this here, again, after the trip is done. And we do have an interflight that is available on this. Now, because we're pointing this out for, or offering this through Astonishing Travel for basically all of North America, we have the rate based on flights out of New York, but you can reach out to Heidi about other air gateways. So if you're flying out of San Antonio or Las Vegas or whatever, just reach out and we'll give you that those rates and quotes there appropriately there. All right. So on this tour here, this is a tour level 4. And what I mean by this is for Collette now, what we have is a tour activity level. And 4 out of 4 is the most robust here. It really is one where you should be able to seize the day, whatever it brings, living an active lifestyle at home already, walking, getting out there, getting your steps. So a few thousand steps a day is not out of the norm. You should be able to also handle longer walking tours here as well. Again, we're going to be covering some uneven terrain, some dusty terrain. Going on a safari, folks, okay? So this is not just going to the local zoo on this. So again, bumpy roads. We might be using some different tender boats, different things like that. It's actually when we're doing wildlife viewing out in Lake Kariba, we'll be using some of those boats. And really, to experience Africa fully here, we always recommend that all of our guests be in reasonably good health and prepare properly on this here. Wheelchairs cannot be accommodated on this trip here. And again, those travelers here that require assistance walking or travel with oxygen tanks will definitely not be able to enjoy fully this trip here. And we consider looking at alternative tours. All right. So here's where our journey begins. Let's get past the fine print on this. Let's get right into our travelers here. And this is Johannesburg here, vibrant city revolving around modernity. It's gold mining history. You might have heard of De Beers. Again, South Africa, the #1 gold producer here in the world here. Johannesburg is South Africa's largest city. We'll enjoy time to get settled here on our own before beginning our exploration into the wild. All right, so again, that's our start off. Now, from here, we board our next day, a plane, short flight to Victoria Falls, where we're going to meet our tour manager before continuing on to our lodge for our next 3 nights in Botswana here. Again, our 3-night accommodations, being able to unpack, use the drawers, stay a while, explore Chobe National Park in different ways each and every day. And upon arrival to our lodge, we'll enjoy some time at leisure before embarking on a private cruise on the Chobe River. Perhaps maybe see some hippopotamus or crocodiles while we scan the water, sipping on cool beverages here. The Chobe River, of course, it's a part of the Botswana safari experience. It provides an opportunity to see things that we just cannot access by land. And again, this is bordered by forest, open woodlands, floodplains, where we have an excellent chance of seeing wildlife. And after our Chobe cruise, we're going to return to the lodge, gather with our fellow travelers for our welcome dinner. And our next day, we're going to get ready as we have our first game drive in Chobe National Park. It's an excellent location here to search for the Big 5. And of course, You, your fellow travelers, are going to ride an open air vehicle here with a local expert being able to tell us all about the creatures that we'll see along the way. Now, Chobe National Park, one of the most visited African safari parks here, most famous for its large herds of elephants as well as Cape buffalo. And in just one game drive, we might be seeing 15, 20 different species of over the 450 plus bird species within this park. Now, this location here, it has a strict no hunting zone, and officials continue to add on to this reserved land. And at this park here, we're going to see animals that you just will not be able to see anywhere else on the planet here, making it a truly wonderful, memorable experience. Now, later in the morning here, we'll enjoy some free time, either at the lodge or drive to our nearest town, which is called Kasane here. And after lunch at the lodge, we'll return to our private boat. We'll take the waters of the Chobe River once more in search of elephants and aquatic birds. Our next day, we'll start our day with a private game drive. I'm sorry, private game cruise, excuse me, out on the Chobe River here, seeing the animals, visiting the water here first thing in the morning. And that's where it's so important that we're up early seeing all this because that's when wildlife is out. And of course, after our search, we'll return home for some free time, some R&R at the lodge, perhaps that's relaxing at the pool, stopping by at the nearby beauty salon, whatever you need to freshen up and make it just a trip of a lifetime there. Now, after lunch here this afternoon, we're going to enjoy a game drive here in Chobe National Park, where we may, again, spot buffalo, hyenas, zebras, and more. And later, we'll have a dinner cruise here along the gentle waters of the Chobe River here during on an exclusive boat ride here with our fellow travelers. Our next day here, we'll have a game drive here in Chobe National Park itself. There's some of those amazing beasts right out there. And of course, after the game drive, followed by breakfast, the 90-minute drive here to Victoria Falls, where we're going to stop for lunch, savor fresh local ingredients while looking over the gorge and the Zambezi River below. At this point, your friends are already looking at your Facebook photos going, oh, wow, I wish I was there. And that's what it is all about. It's all about living life, exploring, and seeing. Travel really is the only thing that you pay for that you truly become richer from. Now, from Victoria Falls here, or from Victoria, I should say here, we'll get off to Hawaii National Park. It's the largest national park in Zimbabwe. Again, for a late afternoon game drive here. Again, settling into our lodge stay here within the national park. Over 100 types of mammals, 400 plus bird species, giving us the chance to look out for cheetahs, lions, giraffes, and so much more. Now, today, or next day, I should say here, it's another day to be in search for the Big Five. And after breakfast, spending a full day on a game drive here in Hawaii National Park, enjoying a picnic lunch break where we can venture out deep into the bushland, maximizing our chances to spot buffalo, elephants, other mammals here before we return to the lodge for dinner, savoring our meal, and of course, the memories of the day of an extensive safari. Our next day, we're going to have a choice on tour. And so, again, you can do one thing, your traveling companion can do the other. Great, go back, compare notes. You're not paying an extra dime for doing so. And that's really what's true with Collette. We're not the cheapest company, we're not the most expensive company, but when it comes to quality and value, that's what you want, and that's what you get with us here. So here this morning, we'll be in search for the game, I should say, for the Big Five, whatever way you want. So one is either an open air game drive here, or the other one is going to be a game walk with an expert national park guide, giving us a rare opportunity in search of wildlife up close. So again, that is going to be one is that open air experience, and as you can see, kind of blurred out in the back is that the way that those seats are, it is kind of an amphitheater style seating. So it is elevated by row. Everybody has a view, and so there is no middle seat, so you're not stuck in that spot. And again, we're looking at stuff where we're getting usually 8 people or so maximum in a vehicle on this here as well, depending on tour here. Now, of course, having those cameras ready. The other option is going to be those who want to just take it a little bit slower this morning, exploring on our own feet, learning from a guide, getting up close with the park's flora and fauna. Okay, so we're not going to get and of course, I'm glad to see that front gentleman there with the rifle, just in case we need to defend ourselves. But whatever option you choose, returning to the lodge afterwards, relaxing over tea, pastries, and then in the afternoon, returning to the park for another glimpse at the animal kingdom that's right there. Our next day, we're going to be making our way over towards Lake Kariba. And after breakfast, we'll depart Hawaii. We'll venture out to the town of Binga here. And this drive, it's going to provide views of the local countryside that are very seldom seen by travelers. And upon arrival here in Binga, we're going to embark on a private safari boat on Lake Kariba. Again, it's going to be our home for the next 3 nights here, the lake, not the boat. Okay. We have limited access to technology, revel in the experience here, floating along the still waters here, seeing the breathtaking sunsets, searching here. And again, being on this lake here, it's actually one of the world's largest man-made lakes. Can really create a true safari experience as well along the shorelines because there are elephants, lions, cheetahs, buffalo, as well as other game species out here as well. Now to bring it back into this area, just to show you where we've been, where we're going on this. Again, we started in Johannesburg. We took our inner flight up here to Chobe National Park in Botswana, over and across over to Zimbabwe here as well. And then again, as you see, 3 nights, 3 nights, 3 nights, respectively on this. Again, you don't want to just have a 1-night stay, so it really doesn't give you that proper time there in the destination. Now, our next day here, we're going to trade in our safari boat here for a smaller tender boat, perfectly sized to cruise upriver channels here off of the lake. And we'll return to the safari boat for lunch. Later on, we're going to enjoy a chance to try our hand at fishing here in Lake Kariba on a tender boat. And this evening, you and your fellow travelers, I should say, are going to take in a barbecue dinner right here on the beach. Stargazing conditions, very little light pollution ahead allows for just an amazing view of the heavens above. Again, coupled with delicious meal here, dining experience that you soon will never forget. Our next day, we'll start off with a return back to the land, and alongside an expert ranger here, we're going to feel the dirt between our feet. We'll venture onto the land for a 2-hour walking safari. Yes, I said it, 2-hour walking safari. We're going to take our time. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint here. And it will offer us a more secluded atmosphere than the national park and game searches that we've experienced ourselves. Now, before having dinner on the safari boat, we're going to take time to admire the stunning red, orange hues setting on Lake Kariba here as well. And our next day, our safari boat is going to come to a close. We're going to return back to Binga, head towards the falls here. And upon arriving at the lodge here at Victoria Falls, we'll take time to have lunch, rest after our journey as well. We'll then grab our ponchos because this afternoon we'll visit the exhilarating Victoria Falls. We'll walk along the edge of the falls beyond, and I should say beside the powerful rushing waters here. It's 5,600 feet wide, about 355 feet tall. It's one of the world's largest. Again, and serves as a natural wonder of the world. It is located here on the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe. And in local language, the name for this waterfall literally translates to the smoke that thunders. Now, we'll start our next day here as well, visiting the Chinotimbo township here. We'll visit a local market here. We're going to barter for goods, and after we'll visit the modest home of a local family here for lunch. And our host is going to prepare an authentic, simple meal here with us, sharing us with what life is all about around Victoria Falls. And following our home visit, we're going to return to the hotel for an evening at leisure. We will have an optional tour that's available on this. Now, an option is done during free time. You're not missing out in lieu of doing anything else. So again, this is just the extra sprinkles and frosting to enhance that journey a little bit more on this here. And this optional tour here will put us out on the Zambezi, got a body of water separating Zimbabwe and Zambia. These banks are frequented, obviously, by the local mammals here. And we'll have a sunset cruise. It goes for about 2.5 hours or so, including the transportation, again, surrounded by, crocodiles, hippos, elephants, a variety of wildlife, and being welcomed aboard with a glass of champagne, toasting to the start of a scenic adventure, enjoying the all-inclusive bar menu here, the sundowner, complimentary hot, cold snacks here. It's a celebration of life. That's the easiest way of saying it right there. Of course, have your cameras ready here with the sun setting, filling the sky with that beautiful warm glow, and much more. Now, our last full day on tour is going to bring us up close to the elephants at a local sanctuary. We're going to hear the stories about these gentle giants and the caretakers that take care of these wonderful animals here as well. Of course, the efforts to understand, care for, and protect these intelligent beasts, inspiring creatures, and again, all the while marveling at these animals interacting and walking by their side. So, did you know the African elephant can weigh actually more than 6 tons? That's 12,000 pounds. My goodness. And continuing here, we'll learn about the animal conservation, care, and visiting here the Victoria Falls Wildlife Trust. Here, the staff at the VFWT review some of the incredible work that they do, ranging from wildlife rehabilitation to community outreach, disease research, and much more. And we'll have the afternoon to do this whatever we wish. The evening, we'll join our fellow travelers for a 3-course farewell dinner under the stars on the banks of the Zambezi. How cool is this? Saying goodbye to our safari companions as we depart our African adventure here, heading home with a quick recap here, included experiences on wilderness of Southern Africa, include, of course, immersing ourselves in nature, the elusive Big Five, multiple game drives, over half a dozen game drives on this, the 3 game cruises here within Chobe National Park, of course, the safaris here in Hwange National Park, sailing on the calm waters of Lake Kariba, 3-night stay here on our privately chartered safari ship, and of course the game walks, the 3-night stay in Victoria Falls with its beauty, power, and much, much more. Now, we do have an extension that is available. This is going to be on this here, goes for $15.49 per person, double, land and air inclusive. And this is a fully guided extension, again, with a local representative, I should say a local representative giving you all the sightseeing and local experiences right here. Now, this here on this is going to be beginning here with, of course, our arrival here into South Africa. I should say South Africa's eclectic and electric cultural mecca here. This is the mother city known as Cape Town here. It is the oldest city here as well. The Dutch settlers here, capital cities, Cape Town, the Western province here, a lot of natural beauty abundant here on this here. Now, of course, what we'll be also doing is we'll set it off for a half-day tour here of Cape Town, oldest city here, climbing aboard the cable car, riding up Table Mountain here as well. Again, this was founded back in the 1650s by Dutch sailors here, making their way and looking for the spice routes here. Of course, today we will also see the full-day peninsula tour here, getting to both sides of the Cape, visiting Cape Point, Cape of Good Hope. Again, this is the southwesternmost point of the African continent here. At Boulders Beach, seeing some of the rare black penguins here with the black tie events here. Of course, these breeding pairs have been showing up since the early 1980s, and there's about 3,000 plus birds here as well. I'm just trying to see here on this, just have the question, how many participants are on this tour in total? On this one here specifically, we're going to be having, on this one here is a total of 20 travelers here. So 20 total on this. So general on our explorations tour, anywhere from 14 to 24 travelers, depending on that itinerary. And this one here locks itself right here at 20. All right, so from Boulders Beach and just a couple other shots here coming in, we're going to have home-hosted meals here as well. This evening here in Cape Town here, getting to know the local culture and kind of see what everyday life is right here in Kapstadt or Cape Town. We'll have a full day of leisure here, in depth. Tour manager will give you options, ideas, where to go, what to see, what to do. We just don't want you to be sitting in your room watching CNN and Fox News, wondering what's going on back home. Who cares? That's why you're on vacation. Enjoy it and get away and just celebrate living once again. Again, bidding farewell to South Africa here. We'll fly out of Cape Town here. And again, we will have access to a day room, which will allow us to have more time to enjoy in that room before the evening flights back. Now, on this and all of our tours here, we do have the opportunity, if you're looking to upgrade air, please reach out and let us know here, depending on classifications. That is an availability there. We talked about some of those unique dining experiences. Of course, here on this, we have our Sunset Cruise optional tour here as well. And our no worries insurance. If you don't use travel insurance, you're crazy in this day and age. We have the best insurance in the industry. It is a cancel for any reason policy. Sick cat, bad hair day, bad hair life, hangnail, hangover, whatever the reason, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. While on tour, Medicare and Medicaid don't apply outside of the United States. This is going to be really the protection, and it's a peace of mind that you can't put a price tag on here as well, because you have that coverage right there. Now, note, up until the 6th of January, if you have to cancel for any reason, you're going to get everything back, including the insurance. From the 7th of January to the day prior here in September, you get everything back minus the cost of the insurance. But that's, again, why you have the insurance. So, again, here's what's an update here for us. Since September 1, we do have our passport our passport club that, of course, I'm going to plug. What this is our travel loyalty credit that we have done in the past. It used to be a flat rate, $100 to $150 off. What we're now is it's basically the more that you have spent, the more that you will save. We were crediting people that were taking 5-day trips compared to 28-day trips with the same amount of savings, and we have updated that to give better savings ultimately. If you've traveled with us 3+ times, you'll automatically be admitted to that level 2 Explorer classification, where you're going to have that additional credit here as well. Now, on this here, you do need to have a passport. Look to see when your passport's due to expire here on this. And again, these trips here being in September of 2024, you want to make sure that it has validity into well into the spring, if not summer months of 2025 at a minimum. Now, visas, we'll talk about this here as well, but that's something here where you want to make sure that you have some blank pages available, just depending on the destination. Now, to find out more about this specific trip, go to our trip dedicated webpage, gateway.gocollette.com/link/122-5996. Once you click that button, what you'll see, or that QR code right there, there's up at the top a sign up now button. Over the right-hand side is Heidi's information here as well. And even further down under the essential experiences are all those know before you go. So if you had the black pouches from Collette in the past with the travel tips, all that, it's all listed right in here as well for you. It goes over voltage, money exchange, all those different things right there for you. And it's very turnkey. That sign up now button, if you click that, it would allow you to put all that information in here as well. Next page would talk about the insurance or what air gateway that you're looking to fly out of, and much more. Customizations, including the optional tours or extensions. That's going to be that part 3, payment as well as completion. Or, of course, you can reach out to Heidi directly at her contact information shortly here as well. Oops, sorry about that. So one thing I want to point out here, and I'm going to break this down here for you on this, is here's the payment, the cost, everything right here. It is again September 5 to September 19th. The deposit is $698. At the time of deposit is when that cancel for any reason insurance is due, which is $599, makes it $1297 respectively there. Again, fully refundable to the 6th of January. Final payment is not due until the 7th of July. And on this here goes for $94.99 per person, double occupancy out of New York. Again, flying out of a different gateway, we'll adjust those rates accordingly. This includes the air taxes, the intra-flights, park fees, hotels, porterage. There'll be 3 dozen meals, and of course the tour manager here as well on this here. Now, so the question that just came up, the Explorer status, is that it is based on your past it's based on your past travels. So if you've already had 2+ trips, and this is as far back as the early 2000s, we will honor all those different things. It does not have to be within a couple of years time frame, but what we'll do is we will recognize your loyalty on this here, and for any of those tours, multiple tours and above, we'll go from there. Now, this trip here would again, this would, if you were already at one and going toward the next one, these are going to be something that will be continuously going on for that level two status in the future. Now, of course, for other gateways, reach out to Heidi, Astonishing Travel. Her phone number 845-519-0819. And of course, that voice in your head telling you to travel that brought you out here tonight, listen to it. 10 years from now, you'll be so glad that you did. What are you waiting for? The best time to travel is while you can. So, of course, here's Heidi's information here on this again, gateway.gocollette.com/link/122-5996. And of course, Heidi at astonishingtravel.com. Now, the other trip here that we're going to be talking about, Plains of Africa here as well. Now, this here, I'm not going to get too go into the nitty gritties as much as we did in the last one, because it is also a small group tour. This maximizes the 18 travelers on this. The portion that is in orange right now for Tanzania, the extension that Heidi mentioned here earlier, is currently on wait. It's on hold right now, has not been fully confirmed yet. This will be something potentially available in the future here. We're just still waiting with our Tanzanian representatives to clear spacing with the hotels and stuff like this. So I want to point out, I will not be mentioning the Tanzanian portion this evening, but it may be available come next September. No guarantees. Okay, just as we've all had to do is just kind of pack our patience over the last couple of years this year as well. All right, so here we are. Here's our trip here, Plains of Africa, an amazing journey here coming up here. Also in September here, September 22nd is the flight out date from the United States. September 23rd is our first day there in Africa, or I should say United States, Canada, or wherever you're viewing from. But again, here getting into the scenic vistas of magnificent wildlife here of the African plains. All right, so average temperatures. What we're looking at right here in this region is temperatures kind of from the mid 50s as overnight lows to the mid to upper 70s. So again, we're looking at temperatures from about 13 Celsius to about 25 Celsius as the crow flies here on this. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. And this is a tour level of 3 in terms of its activity level on this. Means you're an on-the-go travel. You don't want to miss a thing. Again, standing longer periods here, hour or two, is no big deal on this here. Navigating hills, uneven grounds, climbing the various modes of transportation, like tuk-tuks or cable cars or zodiacs and stuff like that here on a longer. But it's something where we have some longer days, balanced with some free time to recharge here as well. So it's kind of that a little bit more than the middle of the road on this. But of course, again, being in Africa, this is an adventure when all is said and done on this. All right, so our journey is going to begin here in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya. It's the largest city in the country of Kenya here, one of the most prominent cities on the entire continent. We'll spend the night here in its first luxury hotel, which is the Soroba Stanley. Our next day, we'll set out for the Central Highlands here in the midst of Aberdare National Park. And here inside, this is a beautiful park, nearly 300 square miles, founded back in 1950 here. Indigenous forest surrounds us on all sides. Red soil just drowns under the brilliant waterfalls here, and is a isolated volcanic range with some of these peaks up to 14,000 feet in elevation. We'll set our eyes out here on Mwiga Hill, where we'll have a welcome party of giraffes awaiting us as we make our way to the lodge. And overlooking the park here, we'll enjoy the lodge's amenities here with our afternoon at leisure. So maybe it might be a nature walk, or looking to just stroll around, having that free time to just decompress after the travel, after getting to the other side of the globe, because you just want to pinch yourself and say, I'm here. Our next day, we'll discover the magic of Shaba, Samburu, and its national, Buffalo Springs Reserves. It's actually home to some of the most exotic wildlife here in Africa. 2 species that we can only find north of the equator, which is the Grevy zebra here, as well as the reticulated giraffe. And we'll arrive here at the National Reserve here at Shaba for our next multiple night stay, 2-night stay here, protected area here in northern Kenya here, and has a lot of dramatic scenery with the riverside forest, the scattered woodlands, the dry grasslands. We'll see that on our next day as we head towards Buffalo Springs. And here, an abundance of birds, have the binoculars handy, 450 plus different species here, endangered eagles, hawks, egrets, all finding sanctuary here. And of course, possibly even spotting the big five. That's the lions, elephants, buffalo, leopards, as well as rhinos here. Also, keep your eyes peeled for hippos, gazelles, and cheetahs. We'll marvel on our next day at the striking contrast of sand, sky, and bush during a morning drive to the Samburu National Reserve here, one of the actually third reserve within the larger protected area here at Aberdare. And we'll return here to the Shaba Reserve here for lunch before we head out on our afternoon game drive here. Again, opportunities, 350 different species of birds, all in this region here, calling it home. Now, our next day here, or I should say later on in the day, as our sun sets, oops, let me get back here. There we are. As our sun sets here over the banks of the Iwo Negroso River here, we'll enjoy a traditional sundowner. We'll relish in the chance to deepen our cultural experience. And this river flows from Mount Kenya, frequented by all different species of wildlife here. And a sundowner, I mentioned it here earlier, it's a special African tradition. It's a toast to the end of the day, well spent, usually performed outside at sunset time here as well. Now, in the company of the Samburu tribe members here on next day, we'll learn about the culture, the traditions, the folklore here of the Samburu region, as well as its people. Again, life amongst the tribe here, semi-nomadic. It revolves all around their cows, its sheep, its goats, its camels, and more. They're dressed in traditional red clothing, as well as this very, very vibrant colors, as you see here. They're great cultural ambassadors here that welcome tourists like ourselves to participate in traditional ceremonies, its foods, its dances, and much more. Now, we will journey through the forest once again here of Aberdare National Park here to the mountain range itself. And we will get to our lodge. It's called the Ark. Looks like Noah's Ark, just like this shot here itself. Of course, it's named after Noah's Ark here with its shape, as I mentioned here, of its famous vessel. Surrounded by forest and wildlife here. 4 viewing decks that make it very easy to watch game go by here. Again, the animals in this shot here, seeing the elephants here, they visit Salt Lick. It's has a beautiful watering hole, and it is has a floodlight that shines out here, so you can even watch the animals come up to here at night. So you don't want to miss any of the action here as well. Believe it or not, they actually have a unique buzzer system. So if they do have any wildlife settings here or sightings here, they'll give you a heads up. You can turn it off. You can turn it on, depending on it. But again, just while you're out there, why not? Now, tonight we're going to join our fellow tour manager here for discussion about conservation efforts, anti-poaching measures here in the region. That tour manager is staying with us the entire time. Same hotel. Our tour guide, confidant, concierge, friend down the road, and much more. And our next day, we'll hit the road. We'll journey to the Neohururu waterfalls here, 250 feet high, here located on the Iwasu Negrio River here, also known as Thompson's Falls. It's probably a little easier for me to say, named after the first European, of course, to visit the falls. So where are we? Where have we been? We started in Nairobi. We made our way up here towards Aberdare and Nyeri here for a couple nights stay. Shaba for our 2-night stay. Back to Nyeri, which is also known as Aberdare, and then over here towards Lake Nakuru, where we are continuing on here right now. And here we are. Now, Lake Nakuru here, this is what is known as a soda lake. It actually has very high concentrations of sodium salts here. It's also a haven of ecological diversity with its picturesque ridges, its bushy grasslands, and it also has a ton of flamingos here as well. Now, our next day here, saying good morning here to Nakuru. Now, Nakuru in the Maasai language, it means dust. And this park full of wildlife on the ground, in the air. Of course, out on our game drive here, we'll have our binoculars ready because we are in rhino country. We will have a true taste of Africa here with a traditional breakfast prepared right in the bush here. What an awesome way to start our day. Unwinding here at the lodge before continuing our journey through the park on an afternoon game drive here. We'll return just in time to witness one of Nakuru's most unforgettable sunsets here. And just an amazing, amazing day. Our next day, we'll welcome ourselves to the Masai Mara Game Reserve here. It is a massive 600 square miles here, one of Kenya's top spots for game viewing here. Also known for its abundant population of lions, leopards, cheetahs, and of course named after the Maasai people that were the original inhabitants here of the areas. Tented accommodations here in the Mara are going to provide us with a deluxe amenities here of a proper lodge, added adventure here, being on a level with the wild. So if we say, hey, you're in a tent, trust me, this is not a KOA campground. Okay, graced with the astounding collection of wildlife, including lions, giraffes, zebras, elephants, the Mara offer an unsurpassed safari experience here on our game drive in the afternoon. And after this sunset here, we'll head over to our tent. We'll be lulled to sleep by the sounds of the animals here in the distance. Now, Hemingway said, I never knew a morning in Africa when I woke up and wasn't happy. And that's going to be the same vibe that you'll be having here every day. Enjoying morning and afternoon game drives on the grassy plains, the rolling hills of the Masai Mara. Now, the Mara itself, it maintains the same ecosystem as the Serengeti. It is, again, the savanna, the cloud shadows here. And again, just being able to just see those wildlife being spotted here on the horizon, so unforgettable. Now, tonight we'll indulge in a traditional bush dinner complete with a Maasai dance performance here before our next day, returning back to Nairobi here, visiting the house of Karen Blixen. Now, Karen Blixen was the author of Out of Africa, going through, and she purchased this house back right around the end of the Great War, 1917, 1918. Served as a center for her farm, which spread over 4,500 plus acres here. And this book really kind of goes through her life living here at this home. We will have Rothschild giraffes eating right out of her hands at the giraffe sanctuary here. There are about 1,600 of giraffes here currently in the wild. And the Rothschild giraffe actually is an endangered subspecies here as well. We'll be able to have that personal meeting here. Fantastic creatures here, feeding them from a platform that stretches as far in the sky as they do here as well, nearly 20 feet tall. Now, our next morning, we're going to have what's called an impact moment. And at Collette, our sustainable tourism, our cultural connections that we have here, this is one of them. We're going to visit Ocean Soul. It's a social enterprise here, turns ocean debris into colorful works of art, learning about the mission through the waterways, getting a chance to peruse the collection of products here. We'll later learn about the Maasai culture here, doing a visit at a local village here as well. We'll continue on to Amboseli National Park, again having 2 nights here, and this is about 150, 160 square miles. Large herds of roaming elephants is what it's really known for as well. Take into the plains of the afternoon with a game drive, breathtaking aura here of snow-capped Mount Kilimanjaro, well in the distance, and of course searching out for the Big Five. We'll have one more impact moment here as well, where we're going to give back to nature with a seed ball. What's a seed ball? Well, these are compact balls of seeds that limit the cost of planting indigenous trees around the world. And we'll be able to basically toss that seed ball out the window anytime during our stay in Amboseli, helping to plant some beautiful crops here, or I should say beautiful flora, trees, whatever that ball is made out of. Our next day will start our early morning game drive with a breakfast, followed by breakfast back at the lodge. And all the Amboseli here is really going to be at our feet. Again, the Maasai word meaning salty dust. It's a unique corner here of Africa, one of the best places to view these elephants really up close. You can see right here is that they're going to have what's called it's a pop-up Jeep. So there is a place where, yes, it's not elevated amphitheater style like I showed you in that previous presentation, but it is where you can stick up your head and get those views of the wildlife that's around you here as well. Whether it's the wildebeest, the zebras that are present here, great chance of even seeing cheetahs or hyenas, as well as, of course, the big five. So if you haven't tossed your seed ball into the wild yet, you still have a chance here while we're in Amboseli. And of course, just look at these two trips. Joining us in Africa, coming back to Nairobi, we're going to depart here from home, but doing Aberdare National Park, the Samburu, doing the multiple game drives on Lake Nakuru here, getting to the home of Karen Blixen here, going to Masai Mara, meeting the Masai Mara tribe as well. These are all just wow upon wow upon wow, ticking all those boxes. Now, I want to point out here as well on this trip, and this slide came a little ahead of me. My apologies. We do have our cancellation for any reason policy. And up until the 23rd of February, if you have to cancel for any reason, you're going to get everything back, including the insurance. Again, we have this policy here where I'd say it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You wouldn't drive your car without car insurance. You shouldn't travel without travel insurance. Case in point. Now, again, our passport club, as I mentioned here, those 3+ completed tours here as well in the past or towards future here, we'll be able to have that additional credit there for you as well. Of course, make sure that passport is valid here. And the best time to update those passports, if you haven't already, are usually the fall months. Don't wait till January, February, March. Those are when the people who are just thinking about what they want to do in the fall of 2024 are making up their mind. Be ahead of the game. To find out more about this trip, take a look at our trip dedicated webpage here, gateway.gocollette.com/link/122-6002. On this right here, again, the same sign up now button that I pointed up to there earlier. And of course, we do have here as well Heidi's information here, pointing this out once again. Something popping up right here in the chat. I am so sorry. 122-6002. Thank you, Heidi. Sorry about that. 122-6002. Sorry, my fast fingers got ahead of me on that. My apologies. So again, very turnkey, very simple, straightforward on this here. Here's the breakdown. Deposit $698 with that insurance is going to be $599, $1,297. Deposit due February 23rd. Final payment July the 24th. On this one here, $79.49 per person, double occupancy on this, plus that $599 insurance here. That's going to make it on this $85.48 respectively there. Both of these tours here, it is very, 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 very few single rooms available. I want to point this out for you. So I believe that there might be 1 or 2 left. So if this is something that is an interest to you, do not wait, do not hesitate at all on this. It's 33 meals, just as the other one included here on this tour here. And again, this rate is based out of New York, but if you want to look at a different air gateway, 845-519-0819. Heidi can help you out, and she'll take down your information, and we'll get back to you there. Again, you know that voice in your head that's telling you to travel? Listen to it. 10 years from now, you'll be so glad that you did. The best time to travel is while you can. Again, on behalf of all of us here at Astonishing Travel, and of course, Collette, reach out to Heidi, 845-519-0819, or Heidi at astonishingtravel.com for these 2 amazing, amazing journeys. And again, September 22 to October 5 on this. So again, recap. September 5th to the 19th, Wilderness of Southern Africa. And Plains of Africa, September 22nd to October 5th. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you travel with us in 2024 to Africa with Astonishing Travel and Collette.